Hello, welcome back to another edition of the I Am Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Mendyka. With me, as always, my co-host, the Merkzone, Mike Merkel.
I'm here.
And today, Mike, we have so much to go over. I feel like I say that every week, but every week stuff's changing, and every week something new, big, and exciting happens in the world of sports. We got so much to go over. We're going to go over Wrestle Kingdom 14, the first ever two-night edition. If you are not a pro wrestling fan, that's okay. Stick with us for the ride, because after we talk Wrestle Kingdom, we're going to talk the Patriots losing in the wild card round for the first time in a long time. We're going to talk college football playoff, the finals, Clemson versus LSU. Who do we got there? We're going to talk the Andre Drummond rumors, whether or not he possibly could be on the move, as the Pistons are clearly not putting it together here. The injuries continue to pile up. And of course, because the Lions are officially out of it and they're not in the playoffs, which means the return of one of our favorite segments of the show, the Merkzone Mock Draft Corner. So the first edition 2020 version of the Merkzone Mock Draft Corner. It's going to be really fun. We'll go through the first couple rounds. If you're not familiar with the Merkzone Mock Draft Corner, we'll go over it at the end of the show before we go into it. But Mike, let's talk right off the bat. We literally just got done watching this. We just got done watching the Wrestle Kingdom Day 2, right? It happens at like 2 a.m. here in the States when it starts. Yeah. So we just got done watching it. I mean, give me your overall thoughts on it. Can we say spoilers at this point? Can we do it?
Do you want to just go spoiler alert?
Yeah, spoiler alert. Let's give it 5 seconds.
Okay. There will be spoilers talked about in this show.
Okay.
Okay, we're good? Alright, cool, sweet.
we give it up long pauses. But Tetsuya Naito beats Jay White night 1 for the Intercontinental Championship. Okada beats Ibushi, right? I'm saying a lot of words right now that people may not recognize, but if you don't know what we're talking about and you seem interested, please go to New Japan World. Buy it. It's $9. Watch the show. You'll be amazed, I promise you. And so world title versus Intercontinental title. Naito finally beats Okada night 2. Crowning moment, clearly. Yeah. First guy ever to hold the Intercontinental and World Championships together. Finally beats Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. He's clearly the guy, you think, right? Gets his moment finally. Thoughts, are you happy with the decision? Are you upset with the decision?
Yeah, it was a great time. Yeah. I don't know if it was my favorite match out of the entire show.
No,
both
I don't
days,
think so.
But it was very solid and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I actually think Ibushi Okada might be the best match
out of the 3 title matches that we had. Because out of the 3 for the actual with some actual
that might have been the best match. That might have been the best Wrestle Kingdom match, and besides Okada Omega at 11, maybe ever.
Yeah.
So that had
some strong words, man.
That was some great stuff.
Had some good Nakamura Shinsuke matches, Shinsuke and Tanahashi match a couple years ago. But no, I agree with you though. I think that the 2 nights, right? I think it was a great concept, right? And obviously, even going in, Okada Naito was kind of what I predicted. I was like, okay, if this is happening, it needs to be Naito's time, and it was, right? But they still kept me engaged. They still kept everything kind of in play. You know what I mean? Thoughts on Ibushi not winning the championship here? He wins the G1 Climax, wins the big tournament to decide. He's going to the main event, right? It's kind of like WWE's version of the Royal Rumble, but a lot harder to win.
Like 5 times harder.
Right.
To win.
So he wins the tournament, right? Everyone thinks, okay, maybe now is the time. Before they kind of went with this double gold thing. Are you concerned at all that kind of he lost a lot of momentum? He loses to Jay White night 2, albeit a lot of interference, right? Are you concerned at all with him, and where he's going, knowing where in the big year he had in 2019?
I'm not too concerned, only because I think this is just like the roadblock in the long-term booking that New Japan does to get them over the top.
Right.
I think it just wasn't his time. Even though it could have been his time if they booked it.
Right.
But I think you can go back into the G1, have a strong outing, and then do it sometime next year, or
absolutely.
Even sometime in this year. You can still do
what
it.
I think is most important for Ibushi going forward is a solid IC title run. Yeah. Because Naito's not going to hold both titles for a super long amount of time, right? And I'm assuming he drops the Intercontinental way before the World title. So because of that, if Ibushi gets at some point the Intercontinental Championship and rolls with it 6, 7, 8 months, you know what I mean? I think that will legitimize him. I mean, that doesn't mean he wins the G1 again or anything like that, but the fact that he's in that conversation all the time as a top guy, and like he is the guy now. Where if he holds that for a long time, has some quality matches against some good people, and kind of lives in the Naito realm for a minute there, kind of plays the Shinsuke role, where Shinsuke at any point in time could have been world champion, but he made emphasis on the Intercontinental title, made it mean something. I think that really could help him elevate him. So when he does finally achieve the goal of being world champion, everybody goes, "Oh yeah, I feel that. I can understand that." You know what I mean? Any surprise on the show? Anything that let you down? Any match or any matches that we watched over the last 2 days where you just go, "Yeah, it sounded good, but just didn't deliver for me." I know it's hard. This is a pretty good card overall, but I mean, is there anything kind of just went meh?
I guess. Nothing really let me down. I wasn't really looking for the never open weight.
Yeah.
And that one was just kind of fell flat for me. Not a lot really happened in that match.
Right.
Let's see. What else happened on the show? Everything else was really, really good, though. I thought the British Heavyweight Championship I actually wasn't really looking forward to, and it kind of blew me out of the water.
Yeah. But we say that every single time we talk about Zack Sabre Jr.
I know.
It feels like we're just like, okay, it's nothing. Yeah. But then, really good technical, completely different from everything else on the show by far.
Yeah, I think maybe the Moxley Juice match was a little underwhelming too.
Yeah.
For the power that they have in that match.
Yeah.
So that was probably underwhelming, but everything else was, if not strong, to excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, to quality
they
stuff.
They really came about it. I'll say a match that kind of I didn't think was going to be as good as it was. I didn't think Jericho Tanahashi was going to be all that great, to be honest with you. They're getting up there in age, right? They're not able to do as much as what they were used to be able to. You know what I mean? There's just some things there that are kind of playing with it. But I will say that they did a great job. They told a really, really, really nice story, right? They added the wrinkle with the AEW Championship contendership thing to kind of throw a little monkey wrench into there. And Jericho getting the win, right, by submission, I think just, increases that value. I would not be shocked to see a New Japan AEW relationship in the future.
I wouldn't either.
I think it's only kind of like, all right, you might as well just do it. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, especially because, quite frankly, and we've talked about this before, AEW is really hurting on depth of talent right now, and especially on baby faces. So to have some of those guys come in here, and really, boost some stock, I think would really help. Long term.
I definitely agree. If you can bring in guys like Zack Sabre and Sonata and Evil and stuff, just for like one-offs at certain shows and stuff,
fantastic.
I think you can boost all types of stuff.
Well, I think it just adds depth, right?
That's what I mean.
Imagine like Sonata and Evil, great tag team, right? They come in now; they're part of the tag team division with AEW. Yeah. I mean, good lord, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that you can do there. Anything that shocked you in this show, anything at all, anything where you just go, totally didn't call that. We played out the double title thing to death. You know what I mean? Yeah. We really went through every scenario a couple shows back. Go to our archives. You can listen to that in the descriptions. But as far as something that kind of took you by surprise where you go, nope, didn't see that one coming, or something where like you had a feeling it may come, but you just didn't know if they'd pull the trigger.
I didn't think Moxley was going to hold the title through both nights.
Yeah.
Since he is with AEW and he's like a vocal point in AEW.
Yeah.
I was like, I doubt he's going to win both. Like, he's going to win he could beat Archer, but I thought he would drop it the next night or even just lose in general.
Right.
And he kept it through both nights.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I guess.
Setting up a huge match with Suzuki. Which is going to be
Suzuki. And then I guess
awesome.
I wasn't shocked that Tanahashi won the junior heavyweight title, but like at the same time I felt like coming right back.
Yeah.
I thought he would lose it, maybe win Best of the Supers, and then win it at the finals of that or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like just give it a few more months to build up to the final match or something.
I will say though that it's a match that if people haven't seen it, that match, Will Ospreay, Hiromu Takahashi, it was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Truly. I mean, we sing Will Ospreay's praises enough here on this show. But I will say that match really stuck out to me. Night one, especially. Night one, not as many title matches as night two, but is very important if you're going to watch the event as a whole. You really need to watch night one to set up yourself for night two. But I think that match, is kind of flying under the radar a little bit right now, and I think that was a phenomenal match. I'll say that one thing I kind of was a little surprised by, I think I actually had them winning, Juice and Dave Finlay winning the tag titles. Yeah. I think I said they were going to win, but in the back of my mind I go, I don't really know if they should win. No. You know what I mean? It's kind of when I was like, I don't know, and I get why, trying to build up another tag team, totally understand it, but it was just kind of like, I feel like if there's one weakness right now in New Japan, it would be their heavyweight and their junior tag divisions. I feel like those are kind of little shallow as far as depth goes right now, especially when you have teams like Evil and Sonata that are kind of breaking off a little bit. I think Show and Yo, I think even though they won the junior tags this morning, whatever, I think they can easily break off and be singles as well. And Ishii and El Phantasmo even could be singles in the junior division. So there's a lot of chaos going on there. But I would say that was the one match that kind of, I guess, not really surprised me, but more I was like, I don't know if I'm necessarily on board with, the decision.
I wasn't on board. Yeah. But I was like, I guess if you want to try to...
I also wasn't really thrilled with Goto winning the Never Openweight title back. I know why, considering Kenta runs out at the end of the night to win, to challenge Naito, give Naito a solid win early on in the reign. But at the same time, I was like, which is also one thing I absolutely hate about booking. Yeah. Is you lose the Never Openweight, but you're like, no, but I'm going to challenge for the World Heavyweight. Like, right now. Yeah, it's more like, it's just like, he won the race to the curtain almost.
Yeah, no. And I was sitting there going, so, like, shouldn't Goto get first because he would just beat you?
Well, that's hard because it's like, okay, so Goto wins it and then you challenge for it. Okay, now you diminish the value of the Never Openweight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's hard to be like, oh, okay. It's hard for... And I think they're saving those bigger matchups, a rematch with Okada, the Jay White thing. I think they're saving that for... Oh, no, I totally get why.
Pillars of the Year. I just thought it was like out of anybody that you could have thrown out there, you're just for like, we're just going to put out Kenta, who just lost an hour ago. Yeah, I
think it's more of a solid base. Yeah. Like, okay, easy, Naito gets the win here, and we're kind of rolling for sure. What out of, give me a letter grade for the show. A, B, C, D?
For what we watched... I'd give it like an A-, B+. Yeah. Because I do think, like, we don't watch the 8-man tags to open night one. Yeah. Like, there were like 4 matches.
Jusha Thunder Liger, by the way, retiring. Yeah. Absolutely historic career. If you haven't seen him, he's the originator of moves like Shooting Star Press. Tremendous career overall. But
we don't watch like those like first 4 matches. Yeah. And then we didn't watch the pre-show of the second night and the first 2 matches there. Mm-hmm. So we kind of just like missed chunks of the show. Yeah. But for the beef and the title matches of the show, it's probably like B+ material.
Yeah, I would say I think we delivered pretty much all the way through. I would probably agree with that. I think A- is an acceptable grade. I think a couple matches got a little bit of time. I didn't think went a little too long. Juice and Dean Ambrose went a little long. Thought the Never Open title went a little long. Certain matches like that, I think, but overall, really tremendous show. Absolutely. All right, let's shift now from the squared circle for a second. Let's go right into. I want to talk about Andre Drummond. Is what I want to talk about next. I want to talk about the Pistons big man. There were some reports that came out this week about him possibly being dealt. There's a couple teams that are in on it. I know the Mavs have called. I know Atlanta has called. I think who else? I think someone else was Boston, right? Yeah. There's a couple of teams I think that we may be missing
and
there.
The Raptors.
Is that the Raptors? Okay. So all those teams calling in, trying to see the availability. Obviously, Andre Drummond in the last year of his contract, he does have a player option for next season, right? But it very easily could opt out of that at any point in time. It's why it's there. Pistons, I think, are 12-22 right now or something like that. 10 games, 11 games under 500. You're not really in a playoff race right now. Blake's ailing. You're still missing Reggie. Rose is doing what he can, but he's not 100% either. You're missing a lot of pieces. You're not there yet, clearly. So the Pistons are doing, I think, what every good run operation should. Is like, okay, clearly we need to take some time here, get some assets, knowing Drummond's playing pretty well. Yeah. So to get him off the books, to kind of get something for him before he goes, especially if he's not in your future plans. Thoughts on would you even deal Andre Drummond, knowing the state of the franchise that you're in right now? You're kind of in this purgatory kind of mode right now.
Yes, because I hate when teams are in purgatory. Yeah. And you're there.
Right. And you just refuse to let it go.
Yeah, because it seems like these Pistons the last 4 years have been we can get the 8th seed.
Right.
But that's as far as you can get though. Right. And you're kind of staying in purgatory because you don't want to move off, because you don't want to be the 9-73 team. Right. But at the same time you're we're not good enough to go anywhere at all, so you're just stuck in
purgatory.
We're
not a 50-win club.
Yeah, so you're stuck in purgatory of 41-41 every single year. And so I'm just take this year and maybe next year or something and just break it down and then start rebuilding, because if you do it now, I think you can quickly get back, where if you wait 2 or 3 years, you're almost too late, where you have to wait more time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
In the down run. So I would dish them out as soon as possible. Yeah. And for some of the offers that you might get back, the Hawks are thinking about possibly giving you Parsons, who's an expiring deal.
Right.
You can maybe get Cam Reddish out of him, who's a nice rookie and a first-round pick. I would go.
Done.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's important is the fact that by doing this, this is not an onus to all of a sudden flip the script and try to win now. Right. This is not a. I think people need to make sure that they're understanding that this is a move to say, okay, clearly this is not going to work this year. Right. I don't think anybody came in thinking the Detroit Pistons were a championship contender. Obviously, but did I think they could have easily been a 5-6 seed? Probably, if they were healthy and came out the way they needed to. But because of that, though, because of those things, I think you need to evaluate, all right, what can we get? So if you're going to get younger, you're getting an expiring deal. Reggie Jackson's contract is coming off the books after this season, too, right? You've got, I think everybody likes your rookie in whatever his name is.
Sekou Simboyou.
There you go. Sure. He's got it. Right, the Frenchman, I like to call him.
Yes.
They like him. They like Bruce Brown. You have D Rose for another year. You like some of these pieces that you have, right? Mm-hmm. Blake Griffin, obviously, here for the long term. No one's taking that contract, and that's okay. But because of that, I think that you have enough, and if you can continue to get younger, especially if the Hawks are going to be bad and you're going to be bad, and you got a couple shots here at getting a top 3 pick in the lottery, like we talked about a couple days ago, I think that is an extremely forward-thinking move to go, okay, clearly we're not ready for it now. Yeah. There's some teams out there, the Lakers, the Clippers, those teams that are kind of built for right now. Mm-hmm. We're not built for right now. So let's get ahead of it and let's build for 5 years from now. You know what I mean? And let's really start to develop some talent, really cultivate, because I do like their coach. I do like Dwayne Casey a lot. I think he's a guy who can kind of take and elevate some of these guys, and I think that's why they're even as close as they are right now. Is without the injuries, I think they'd be more of a 500 ball club, if not a little bit above. With all the injuries, the fact that they're even doing anything is surprising. So would be interesting for sure. If there's a team that you think Drummond could flourish on the most for him to maximize his value going into free agency, is there any team that you think, oh my gosh, like if this team scooped him up, that could really elevate them to another level?
Boston would probably benefit the most.
Yeah.
Only because they use the stretch 5 in Al Horford, but they don't have that nice big.
Horford's gone. Horford's in Philly.
Oh yeah, he is in Philly. Yeah. No, they have there's another.
Yeah.
Their other center.
Yeah.
Not Horford. The other center. I think his name's like Baines or something.
Yeah, right.
He shoots threes also, and they stretch the floor with him. But they don't have that guy who's like, all right, I'll just get you.
Man the
and
middle.
So if they get that, and they have Tatum, Brown, and numbnuts on the Kemba Walker as guards on the outside, being able to move the ball around, and then you have your nice big get 17 rebound a game kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think he can flourish very well in there.
Right, absolutely. No, I think that's a great. I think he'd be excited to go. Honestly, right?
Oh yeah.
A team that's in contention, theoretically, for an NBA championship, right? Especially in the East, where I think a little wide open. Honestly, you know, I mean,
it's more
East,
wide open.
I mean,
the
West is a 2-team race, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So, and it's hopefully they meet in the finals, not like earlier on, because I'll be really bummed.
Conference finals.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, I think that'd be a great spot for him. I think if you're looking to put up straight numbers, I think Atlanta's not a terrible place to go, because Atlanta, at least, you're going to get the ball hell of a lot. You have Trae Young. As far as from a Drummond perspective.
Oh, yeah. If you're trying to put up the highest numbers, you probably go to Atlanta.
Right. I think Dallas is an interesting spot as well, because you already have Kristaps there. You got Luka there, Tim Hardaway Jr. You have some pieces there that work. I don't know exactly where he'd fit.
That's my promise.
Unless you're going to do like a twin tower thing. Kristaps plays the 4, a really big 4, and then you put Drummond at the 5. It's weird, but once again, if you're talking about structure and a good coach, I mean, that's how you're there with Rick Carlisle.
That's kind of how the Lakers have it, though. Coach. Lakers have Anthony Davis who can spread out the court, and then JaVale McGee's just kind of there.
Right.
And Andre Drummond's a better JaVale McGee.
Oh, yeah.
But Anthony Davis is better, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
it balances out.
Yeah, it balances out.
Sure. I think Dallas is in a spot where they're kind of like, maybe we can make a little bit of a run, kind of, sort of, maybe.
I think they can beat
could shock some people. Yeah, right, exactly. Anybody. At any time. And that's what you want. You want to be dangerous like that. So, really interesting. We'll kind of keep everybody updated on that. We'll see if he does wind up getting traded. What is coming back to Detroit? It better be a first-round pick in there. I tell you that right now. It better be that, because if not, somebody got swindled. But I'm glad that they're at least approaching it with the fact that he may leave. Even, no matter what he says, he might leave anyway. So it's very good that they're looking at it. They're looking at trying to get rid of him. You know, not because of his play, but more for the future of the franchise. So it'll be very interesting. Plus, I think you're going to give, if they're going to go full on like, hey, you know, if we are going to go and sell this season down the river a little bit, get a lot of young guys some time. You know, Wood. Sam, you know, the Frenchman? Sekou, whatever. I don't know, dude. All right. I get it. All right.
You're a Thon Maker fan, and you're not a Sekou Demboya fan?
I would say I'm a Thon Maker fan because he's hilarious. That's why I'm a Thon Maker fan, okay? If he hits 1-3 a game, I am so stoked. But let Blake rest it out, right? You know, even D Rose, I would just whatever he wants to do at that point, let him make that call. But everybody else, you got a lot of young guys on this team. Let's just go, hey, let's see what happens. You know, you know what I mean. Let's go balls to the wall and see what happens. And hopefully, you see that some of these guys rise up, and all of a sudden you're playing good basketball in a couple years. So be very interesting. All right, we're gonna go to break. After the break, though, we're gonna talk big Patriots loss to the Tennessee Titans. First time they lost the wild card, and I can't remember how long.
2009.
There you go, 2009. See, Mike's got it right off the top of his head there. We're going to talk Patriots. We're going to talk college football playoff, the finale, Clemson LSU. Mike's got some hot takes there. And, of course, the return of the Merkzone Mock Draft. It is draft season for us here in Detroit. Once again, it's like the Super Bowl, except only better. After the break, stick around. Hey, guys, it's the Mouth of Michigan, Robin Dyke, and you've been hearing me talk about my buddy, Nick DiStefano, for such a long time now. And I keep telling you this, and the reason why he continuously pops up on the show is for one simple reason. He's the best. It's that simple. I would not be endorsing this guy if I didn't have 100% confidence that he is the right guy for you. If you're buying, if you're selling, if you're a first-time home buyer, he is the guy to go. He's the guy who helped me find my house. He's the same guy who's helping Mike find his house. Everything that you want to know about real estate, he is the guy. He just broke out on his own. He's been killing it. He wants you to be a lifetime client. He sent me a birthday card this year, guys, okay? A birthday card. I didn't ask him to do it, but he did it anyway. You know why? Because he wants to make sure that he builds a relationship with you for life. He wants to make sure you're in the right house for you, whether it's condo, apartment, whatever it is. He is the guy. That's Nick DiStefano, 586-556-0304, or give him an email, nick@nickd.realty. I mean, I can't say enough good things about him. He's the man. He's the nicest guy. He's definitely going to be the one to hook you up. He's going to be blunt. He's going to be honest with you about what house you should look at, why you should like this one, why you should not like this one. He's going to be the guy who you can rely upon. And guess what? If you want to go see 5 houses in a day, he's your man. If you want to go see 10 houses a day, he's your man. He's the kind of guy you want on your side when you're making one of the biggest purchases of your life. Once again, that's Nick DiStefano. That's 586-556-0304. Now here's part 2 of this week's episode. And welcome back to part 2 of episode 58 of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. Let's just jump right in, Mike. Pats 20-13, because they had the pick 6 at the end there. 2013 lose to the Tennessee Titans. The New England Patriots are out. You're going to have new Super Bowl champions this year. Craziness going on here in the world of the NFL. But let's talk about New England for a second there. I know there's been a lot of people coming out and saying this could potentially be the end of the road for New England. Now, Mike, I want to ask you that question because I don't know if I'm really ready to say, okay, well, they're just going to be total butt for the rest of the time that Brady's there or whatever, but like that. But is this it? Is this like the first sign of, the tower's falling?
Yeah. I personally think I think it actually started a little bit ago. Mm-hmm. When you look back at how dynasties fall, the Patriots are going to have like a perfect fall from grace, and it was going to be a nice gradual fall that everyone's going to be okay with.
Yeah.
So we go back to Super Bowl 51, one of the best Super Bowls I can ever remember watching. Yeah. And it was the 28-3 comeback.
Right.
Then they go win that one.
Yep.
Then the Patriots are like, all right, we're on a roll. And then you go to Super Bowl 52, and then they lose because Brady fumbles the ball on the last drive of the game.
Right.
That's when most teams would go, okay, now the decrease is going to start.
Right.
Then when D Ford is 2 inches off sides, and they're about to lose the game, Patriots went, no. That just helped us win the game. Yeah. And then they go win a Super Bowl when they should have probably been out in the AFC Championship game.
Right.
So to make this loss feel a little less like, okay, now we're kind of just falling off, like gradually, nicely and stuff.
Yeah.
Now you kind of look at it and go, well, we won a Super Bowl last year, so like this isn't really done. Like fans aren't like coming to grace with it because it just, it's like a fluky thing because it only happened once.
Right.
But realistically, it should have been more of a gradual pace down.
Right.
And I don't think they'll be bad, but when you look at the division they're in, it's probably going to be the strongest it's ever been because the Jets are on the rise right now. Right. Miami has 14 first-round picks, so how can they not get better? And the Bills are a 5-seed playoff team.
Right, that almost should have won yesterday.
Yeah, with probably the coach of the year, in my opinion. Maybe it's him and maybe Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh for how they've been raising their team's levels.
Right.
So I think it's going to be, if it's not the end, I think it's going to be the end of like total dominance by them. I think they can find ways with that defense, and they have Brady to like maybe find ways to seep through games and stuff, but they're not going to be like, Miami Jets, we're going to sweep them every single year. Like, it's going to be dogfights every year.
Yeah, and I agree with you to a certain extent, right? And we talked about it, the offense has kind of fallen off a bit, right? It's still amazing to me how Josh McDaniels is a candidate for coaching, for head coaching jobs, considering the fact that A, he did the thing with the Colts, number one, and two, the offense has not been as good as it has in years past. Is this the end, do you think, of Tom Brady, right? Like, he's already said he's probably coming back, right? Yeah. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent, which is something that we need to monitor. But let's just assume he comes back to New England, right? They don't have a guy, like, waiting. Let's be real.
Not anymore.
Right, so with that being said, is this the end where are we going to see kind of, not so much a Brett Favre-esque kind of fall off, but are we going to see a Peyton Manning fall off where, like, all of a sudden we're just like, man, it's like he's just average.
I think you saw it a little bit this year, and this is the kind of I'm waiting to see LeBron get, where you just kind of go, he's just not there. Like he's still playing there.
He's a factor, but he's not the factor.
Yeah, Brady, you can start seeing this past year where there are games where you're just like, he doesn't really look like it's all there. Right. Like when he's throwing the ball, it looks like Peyton Manning from 2015 when they won the Super Bowl, where it goes about 15 yards, and you're like, it got there, but like,
right, yeah, we're gonna need some other factors.
Yeah, we're gonna need more speed. We're gonna need more of this. We're gonna need that defense to be what it was the first 8 weeks of the season, not the last 8 weeks of the season, in order to win these games. And I almost think that Brady chose the wrong time, because now if he doesn't win it, maybe next year, since they're out this year, you almost like, is he not gonna win one and retire? Like, is he gonna didn't make the playoffs?
God forbid he won 6.
No, I know, but like it's always
go up.
You always want to try your best at least to leave on top.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like the Mannings or the Elway or whatever, and if he doesn't get that another one, and you're just like the next 2 or 3 years, he like either doesn't even make the playoffs or he's wild card exits. You're like, it's not good. It's not a great look.
I am very, very interested to see what they do this offseason, honestly. I'm very interested to see. I'm assuming he resigns. I'd be stunned if he didn't. I think if he didn't, that's a bad move on both parties, honestly, because I don't think New England's prepared as either, honestly.
Oh, no.
Especially if Josh McDaniels leaves, then you're in a whole world of hurt. But I'm very interested to see, because if they come out, right, they go 12-4 next year, and they're a buzzsaw through everybody, you know what I mean? And you're just like, what happened? So it's very interesting to see where they are at. A big win by Tennessee, not to diminish anything like that, but the story, obviously, is New England. With that being said, I know we're kind of in the middle of playoff games as this is being recorded or like that, but does this automatically, for you, right, does this set up a run for one specific team? Like, did you think that New England was like a kryptonite for a certain team, especially in the AFC, to get to the Super Bowl? Like, does this automatically clear the path for a Baltimore or a Kansas City or a Houston or something?
Well, I think it clears more of a path for an AFC championship game between the Chiefs and Baltimore.
Yeah.
Because you do know 100% certain it's going to be Baltimore Titans, Chiefs, Texans as of this recording. Yeah. And when you look at those matchups, you go, There's not a lot of way. Like, I was even saying, if the Titans did lose this game and Patriots went on, I don't think they get through Kansas City. Right. I think Kansas City is just too overpowered, and their defense is that much better than it was last year.
They're Oklahoma, but better defense.
Yeah. Right. And the Patriots are just like a lesser version than they were last year. Maybe not by a lot, but they're definitely a lesser version. So it was that close last year that I'm like, this year I don't think they would have gotten through. Right. And I think that would have been a nice like turnaround story or whatever. But now I'm just like, I think the Chiefs can just, and Baltimore are going to fly right through. Right. And they're probably going to be in the AFC Championship in 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah. Very, Sunday, very interesting.
Which will be a phenomenal game.
I hope it is. Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm really interested to see the results of these NFC Championship, NFC wildcard games, because it's gonna set up some stuff. Obviously, we can't talk about them as we don't know the results of them. Obviously, let's shift now a little bit from the NFL. Let's talk the college game here for a minute. Let's talk the finals. We're talking about it this week, guys, because by the time we record next week, the game will be on the next day when the episode drops. You won't have enough time to kind of listen and argue or call us idiots or whatever you want to do with it. But Clemson, LSU, we promised it a couple weeks ago after we saw the Final Four, right, that we preview this matchup. You got, Mr. Burrow here, Heisman Trophy winner, yada, yada, yada. But then on the other side, you've got Trevor Lawrence, guy who's never lost. Mm-hmm. He hasn't lost a game since high school. So, I think obviously Clemson with the more hard-fought victory, clearly. I mean, that game went down to the wire. LSU been riding high, literally. I think, honestly, since the middle of last year, I mean, they really started to kind of feel it. Even last year, they had some big wins. LSU looks like an unstoppable offense right now. What are your thoughts? Just give me a preview of this game. I mean, what am I looking for as a Clemson guy that you are? What are you looking for out of Clemson to get the win?
Well, first off, I'm going to base off this by saying the fact that people are like, oh, Clemson's not as good because they haven't played anybody. Mm-hmm. They just shut everybody up by beating Ohio State. Because Ohio State is the best team in the country. Yeah. And Clemson just beat them. Right. So I don't want to hear that anymore. Whatever. But besides that point, I think that Clemson I think their defense, and everyone's going to be like, well, it didn't look great against Ohio State. 23 points is not bad against Ohio State.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those...
First half looked rough. Not gonna lie.
First half was not great, but it was only a 16-point first half. Yeah. When it should have been more. Right. But it was only 16 points because of their best red zone defense.
Right. Should have done a lot more. Yep, absolutely.
And playing one of the best defense by far in the country, and you being able to score 30 points against them is a very good sign. Also, I think Trevor Lawrence and Clemson play in a way that the Patriots do normally, where they win ugly, they win by any means. All right, we have to run the ball 100 times to beat you. We will. Right. Trevor Lawrence can beat you over the top. We will. Our defense has to get that last 1-yard drive or whatever. They will. They'll get that last second interception, seal the game. They'll just find that way. I don't think LSU, even though they played Alabama in a big time game, they played Georgia, Oklahoma. It was a game. It was a big time game, but they weren't at the level of the other teams that they played. That I don't think LSU is ready for what Clemson's going to bring.
But honestly, though, joking aside, that's actually something that I don't think people are putting enough stock in. For as much crap as they give Clemson for not playing, and let's be clear, the ACC's terrible, right? Yeah. Totally terrible, right? They beat Ohio State, but LSU has not played a game yet this season. Even the Alabama game, where they didn't dominate at some point. Even that Alabama game, Alabama made a game late, but the game was already out of hand in the first half.
Yeah, it was 35-7 at one point in the game. You're sitting there going,
okay, now they're holding on at this point, right? The Georgia game, same thing. They were up 2 scores before you knew it. The Oklahoma game was never a game. It wasn't even close at any point in time. So the 3 big games that you can point to on the schedule for LSU and go, okay, these are our 3 marks to say, we're the best team in the country. I mean, they haven't faced anything yet where if Clemson goes up 10 or whatever, right? We haven't seen that. We know Clemson can get out of that hole. They just did it 2 weeks ago. But the fact that LSU has yet to really face that adversity, similar to what we said about Ohio State before they played Wisconsin, where it was like, Ohio State's never played down. Ohio State's never played without a lead. Obviously they proved that they could do it, but point being is that was something to where, it's an underrated thing to look at, but sometimes these big teams, Ohio State when they played Florida, was another version of that, right? Where Florida comes out of nowhere, Chris Leak, who the hell is Chris Leak? They win a national championship because Ohio State just went through and destroyed everybody all season long.
Yep. I would also argue too that, and this is also Ohio State's problem, is you were winning in the fourth quarter. There was never a game where you were down and had to make that game winning drive.
There was no sense of urgency that, okay, this is the drive.
Yeah, this is the drive. Yeah. Clemson had that earlier this year. They played Texas A&M in a close game, and North Carolina, they went on an 85 yard 15-play drive to seal the game, basically. Right. North Carolina came back and they only won by 1 because they went for 2 and then sent it to overtime.
Point being is that they had to make the drive.
They had to make the drive, and now they just made the drive Trevor Lawrence did to beat Ohio State, basically, and then the defense made the stop. LSU's never had to make the drive yet. LSU's been like, okay, so we have to hang on to a 35-7 lead.
Right. Yeah, right. Let's just not blow it.
Let's just not blow the lead. You play Georgia, you're up 28-7. Let's just not blow this lead. Right. Oklahoma, you're up 56-0. Let's not blow this lead. You have all these games where you're just like, okay, we're up by so much. against Clemson, you're not going up 34-0 and being like, all right, let's hold the lead.
Right.
Because once it gets to, even if it gets to 10, 14, 17-0, Clemson's like, all right, we have to go score.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence is going to go, okay, we're going to go score.
Right. Give me your game plan if you're LSU. How do you win this game, right? Like, what makes you confident going into this championship game?
Hope that your offense can just score
at will.
At will, almost. Yeah. Because I think their defense is still the weak part. You look at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma can't score, but Clemson is another monster offensively that wasn't shown because they're playing Ohio State, which is the best defense in the country.
That's something, too, right? We talked up the Oklahoma offense quite a bit, and, based off of their play, right, justly so. But I will say this. I think Clemson, in this, I think, plays into both sides, right, a bit to prevent a Clemson loss, but also LSU's like, I hope, if Clemson offensively, I don't know what the hell was going on with Jimbo Fisher and his play calling that first half, but it was atrocious. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely atrocious. So I think, to your point, right, LSU's defense clearly the weak point of that team. If there's a weak point, it's the defense, right? Yes. So with that being said, especially if they can't rush the passer as well as they did against Oklahoma, right? Because early on they were in Jalen Hurts' face, right? If Trevor Lawrence has a clean pocket, I don't know, as long as, Clemson kind of gets out of their own way, I don't know, this may be another game where we see a 40-burger on both sides.
Yeah, well, because I look at Clemson's offense, you go, oh my God, Ohio State, you want to pull up 29. Okay, but then you play Virginia 62-17.
Right.
You scored over 45 points in the last 8 games of the regular season. So, it's not that their offense can't score, it's just you're playing such a fantastic defense.
Right.
LSU's defense is not Ohio State's defense.
No, it is not. Nope.
So I think
you got top 5 picks.
Yeah,
two spots there.
Yeah, I think you have a very reasonable 35 to 40 points Clemson can score. Yeah. Now LSU has shown the ability to score that many also
on good defense.
You're playing Alabama, you put up 46. Georgia, you put up 38.
Right.
So at the end of the game, all these teams you can put up points. So I would expect a pretty big shootout.
Right.
Honestly,
I think it's what defense can make the play.
The play.
And
right?
the reason, a pick, a fumble, whatever it is.
And the reason I pick Clemson is I think their red zone defense can make the play.
Yeah.
I think LSU's defense can't make the play.
Right, and that could be it. So you're going Clemson. Give me a score. What's the score in your opinion?
I'm gonna go 42-39 Clemson.
Man, that'd be a hell of a game, my friend, right there. 42-39.
Well, they did. Yeah, they put up 45 against Alabama last year.
I'm gonna actually side with you on the Clemson thing, and here's why. As I've been on the show, right, as I said even before this week when New England was playing, right, everyone's kind of and I said I can't root against New England. I can't say New England's going to lose until I see it, because every year they continuously show me that when playoff time comes, usually this year being an asterisk so far, that they put it together, right? Whether they win the Super Bowl, lose the AFC Championship, whatever it is, they're always there at the end, right? Clemson now, over the past 2 years, and over the last pretty much 5, even since Deshaun was there, they have proven not only that we can get there, and you're playing against a guy who hasn't lost a game in his college career. You're playing against probably the best coach in the country, in my opinion, probably, right? It's him and Saban, regardless of who you want him, I
think it's Dabo now.
Right, yeah, right. Point being, right? It's, arguably speaking, you're playing against the best coach, right? A seasoned team with the best quarterback, arguably, right? Or one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You got especially if all the weapons are there, the run game is there. He's a threat on the run. It's crazy to see this LSU team and this Clemson offense play each other, because they do things very similar, right? The read option, you've got running backs that are, you got interchangeable running backs, wide receivers just make plays out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's going to be a great game, but I'm going to lean towards the experience and the fact that, once again, until Clemson loses, I can't say they're not the best team, because they haven't lost in 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like Bama, just like any other team that's going on it. Until you beat them, I'm not going to say you're not the best team. So I'm going to take Clemson as well. I'm going to say 38-35 Clemson. I'm going to take a little bit lower than you, just so we can be different, because I'm annoying like that. But so it's going to be interesting for sure.
Off air, that was the same score that we had. 42-39. It's the same score.
For sure. All right, let's talk now. Let's talk my favorite part of the show. We're going to talk the Merkzone Mock Draft. So while you pull up your mock draft, I'm going to give our listeners who have maybe just joined us on the last couple episodes here. So basically last year, please go back to our archives and listen too, because that was a fun time for both of us. But basically the Merkzone Mock Draft, Mike finds a mock draft written by some guy, ESPN, Walter Football, name a guy, he'll find him. And basically we go over these mock drafts basically to kind of point out whether or not we agree, whether we can predict who's going to get picked by the Lions, picking third overall as of this recording. We kind of go over the top 5 or so. We'll kind of go through each first couple rounds for the Lions as well, just to kind of get a fit of what other people around the world or around the league are kind of saying. What are the holes or what potential players are going to be there when the Lions pick? It's a lot of fun. I'm a big draft guy. I'm very much, and if you're a Detroit Lions fan, half the time this is what you look forward to. So unfortunately, so it's going to be something fun. We haven't had this high of a draft pick in a really long time. So it should be fun for sure. So Mike, Let's go ahead. Give me where this mock draft is from, when it was published, so we can kind of go through that. Obviously, we're not going to go through every pick in the first round. A, because we don't know who's picking where, and 2, I don't really care what everyone else is doing after my team, quite frankly. So, but I know this is a 3-rounder. You said, right?
This is a 3-rounder. It's from Walter Football.
Walter Football.
Updated yesterday.
Okay,
or I guess this morning. It's like the 4th or the 5th or something.
Yeah, right. So pretty recent, right? The first 20 or so picks have been already kind of slotted in there. These are there any trades in this, especially pertaining to our Detroit Lions or anything like that?
Nope. But okay. It does update that Miami has like 4 first-round picks.
Right.
So
okay.
they traded previously to this.
Right.
Obviously.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So we don't do trades here. Obviously, you can never really predict a trade. So we're going just straight off of that, but. There always is something happens, but, regardless. So let's go right in here. Let's go first overall, Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to assume it's Mr. Burrow.
Yes, it is Mr. Burrow.
I thought you were going to say it wasn't. I was going to be like, wow, I'm starting off this segment with a bang.
Yep, it is Mr. Burrow going number 1 to Cincinnati.
Right.
They say that Ryan Finley's not the guy for the future.
No.
And... he'd be a big increase there.
Yeah, obviously, right? Obviously the Red Rocket's probably going to be gone.
Yes.
Finley's a guy, you can kind of throw a football sometimes. And Cincinnati needs help everywhere, so why not rebuild it with a guy who you think can be your franchise?
Yes. All right, so number 2, Washington Redskins.
Oh, I'm going to say Chase Young because I'm assuming that's going to happen. It's going to piss me off, but yeah.
It is Chase Young.
Chase Young?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you look at it, Ron Rivera, right? They're not going to hire a GM in Washington until after the draft, which I think is hilarious. So Ron Rivera clearly going to have quite a bit of say, I would assume, in their first draft, right? We're going to talk about Black Monday that happened next week. We're going to talk about the NFL coaching firings, just to kind of break you guys into that as well. I'll give you a little preview for next week. But Ron Rivera, the new head coach in Washington already, right? That was really fast. The fact that he's there, he's a defensive-oriented guy, right? That's how they got to the Super Bowl, was on Cam's MVP season / having a top-5 defense. He could be their Julius Peppers guy, that they would have there. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. It just frustrates me as a Lions fan personally.
All right, number 3, Detroit Lions.
You're Detroit Lions. Be excited, Mike.
Who do you think they're drafting? Give me why.
Based off of that, I'm going to say Okudah, the cornerback out of Ohio State. Reason why, there's some uncertainty with Slay there, whether or not he signs an extension or they trade him. I don't think you have a solid number 2 clue. I think they like what they have in Awarie, but that's still way too early to decide. Rashawn Melvin's on a 1-year deal. I don't, Justin Coleman's going to play your slot regardless. He's here, unless they would make. And I'm assuming they don't go in the corner market later, or at least in free agency. So, notwithstanding, I would say that's probably the pick, knowing that they want to be able to shut people down. They don't like to blitz a lot, so everyone's going to play a lot of man coverage.
Yep. You were correct. You did pick Jeff Okudah,
there you go.
cornerback at Ohio State. There's also a slight option that they might choose Derek Brown, the defensive lineman from Auburn, in the spot also.
Okay. Well,
pending what they do in free agency, obviously.
Right,
if they get a corner,
obviously, and this is really going to get more concrete the more weeks we go, and you guys will we're going to do this every week leading up to the draft. It's a lot of draft coverage by us because, there's only so much playoff talk we can do. There's only so many things you can talk about, especially here in Detroit with the fact that all of our sports teams are terrible. But, where it stands right now, right? Would I be upset if they took a D lineman? Not necessarily. You know what I mean? Even if Chase Young is on the board, they take Chase Young. I don't think that necessarily transforms their defense by any means. But I do think that it needs to be a defensive pick. I do think that this pick is extremely important on what they do if they stay at number 3. It needs to be a pick that they are confident that they will land, and it needs to hit, and it needs to hit immediately. Yep. You know what I mean? It's my only hesitation, honestly, with taking a corner that early is because cornerback is such a hard position to play, and the difference between college speed and professional speed, and we've talked about this before, is pretty sizable. You know what I mean? It's not as easy just go plug and play and let's just let the rookie shut somebody down. It doesn't happen that way. You know what I mean? I think Darrelle Revis is really the last corner, maybe Jalen Ramsey, to really be a guy just to go, oh, shut him down immediately. You know what I mean? A lot of guys don't have that. So while I predicted that pick, I don't necessarily know if that's where I would go. I would honestly rather spend money and go grab another guy, like go grab a solid second if you're going to keep Slay, and then focus more on the defense of the front 7. But I understand why they make the pick.
Number 4, New York Giants are up.
I would say they could take that tackle from Auburn, honestly, just based off of the fact that who's on your D-line? You trade away Olivier Vernon. I can't name another guy on their defensive line, to be honest with you. So I'm going to say the defensive lineman.
Okay. Well, you were incorrect. First incorrection of the year. They picked Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver out of Alabama. Reason being, they don't have a true number 1.
Right.
They have Darius Slayton. They have Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate. Yeah. But I think Jerry Jeudy would be
they're number one. They're number 1. That doesn't shock me. I didn't think about that honestly. I figured they'd go defense just because their defense is so atrocious. But yeah, no, that's a solid pick. I mean, that's a pick. Honestly, if you're a Lions fan. If, for whatever reason, stuff hits the fan and maybe they trade back a couple spots, say with the Miami, we'll get into that more once everything's kind of finalized, especially after free agency. So we're really looking forward to that. But that's kind of something where you look at and you go, okay, that's a pick theoretically. If Jerry Jeudy's there, say it's 7. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Lions pair him with Galladay, and we're off to the races. Yep.
And then to round out the top 5 Miami picks, who do they pick?
Oh, boy. It's going to be a quarterback. I'm going to assume it's Tua as of this recording, just based on whether or not he declared. I would say Tua. I don't think there's another quarterback right now ready to go. That's that high.
You were correct. It is Tua Tagovailoa.
I thought you were for sure you were going to say, no, actually it's Herbert. And I go,
no,
okay, well.
No, interesting enough, Herbert is projected to go to the Chargers at number 6.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, that's thinking that Phil Rivers probably has 1 more year left. Yeah. He could sit behind for a year and he'd plug and play right away in that system that they have there.
Right, for sure. Yeah, but Tua obviously, right, pretty good college career, I would say, national champion, all that good stuff. Miami needs a new face. Clearly it's not Josh Rosen. Isn't it amazing how fast Josh Rosen went from, he could be okay, to, wow, he's really not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Quite quickly.
Really, really fast. Arizona's definitely not bummed out that they have Kyler Murray right now. But extremely interesting. Miami clearly needs a quarterback. I think with enough picks, though, I don't know if they pick at 5. That's my only thing. You know what I mean? If you're a Lions fan on the trade down train, Mike, you made a great point about that, where theoretically, if you could get the 5th pick and Miami wants to trade for whatever reason, if they get wind that another team wants to move up ahead of them to get a quarterback, that's a team that you're really hoping, because they have multiple first-round picks, you could possibly address a skill position on defense as well as offense in the first round if you're Detroit. So, all right, let's go now. Any other notable besides Herbert? Any other quarterbacks or anything notable going in the first round that we want to mention?
Not too much. And interesting enough, no Michigan or Michigan State guys go in the first round this year.
What? No way. What? No way. Crazy. No Shea Patterson?
No Shea Patterson. It's unfortunate.
No Brian Lewerke?
No.
Oh, man. He had Brown written all over him.
Yeah, I know. It's very unfortunate.
Right? All right, let's go round 2.
Okay, so round 2. So we open with Cincinnati picking Alex Leatherwood, guard from Alabama.
That'll get you. That'll get your heart right.
And the Indianapolis Colts pick Jacob Eason, quarterback out of Washington.
That doesn't shock me, because listening to their end of the season press conference, they like Jacoby Brissett. Yes, that is a team, the Colts, who, if they fall in love with a team and fall in love with a guy like, say, Justin Herbert, they have enough ammunition, I think, to go, you know what? We think we have enough they have so much cap space right now. Indy does. It's crazy. With that, the cap space, I think they like their defense. I think they like Frank Reich as a head coach. I think They have some pieces, in the offensive line game especially.
Mm-hmm.
I think giving them a solid stud quarterback, a Herbert of some sort, right, where he can go, hey, listen, Jacoby's our starter to begin the year, but that leash is so short. Give the ball to Marlon Mack a bunch, throw the ball to T.Y. Hilton, go get a wide receiver in free agency somewhere, and I think you're really cooking in Indy. So that wouldn't shock me to see them as a team that's definitely willing to kind of maneuver up and down the board to go get a guy they think kind of complete the puzzle there. Because I think, honestly, we were talking about them as a Super Bowl contender with Andrew Luck at quarterback.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I have no idea who the Lions would go in round two. I'm assuming I would honestly think they'd go offense, but maybe because they think our defense is so terrible that they're going to go defense.
No, they do go offense.
Do they? They go wide receiver?
Nope.
Ooh.
They go running back.
I already hate this draft then. This is the stupidest thing. Why? Who?
Najee Harris, running back out of Alabama.
Yeah, I'm not loving that.
And so here are some available guys later in the draft that they could pick.
Yeah.
Guys like J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor.
Already, if you have to go running back, it's Dobbins or Jonathan Taylor.
T. Higgins from Clemson still available at this pick.
They take a running back again in round 2. I might flip over a table on this show the next time we come on board when they actually. I hate that pick. I absolutely hate that. Yeah.
All right, so we head to the third round after I was very upset with...
That was just... it's just like, for me, it's like, you know what, I get the carry-on thing. I think they like Bo Scarpa, but, man, do I really not want to take another running back that early. You have so many other holes.
So, we're opening the third round. Cincinnati picks a linebacker out of LSU, Jacob Phillips.
Okay.
Washington picks a corner out of LSU, Christian Fulton. That's awesome. Back-to-back picks at the top of the third rounds.
There you go.
And the Lions will go defense.
Okay.
They pick...
defensive end?
Nope. Anthony Jennings, linebacker out of Alabama.
Wow, we're just going off the Bama tree, huh?
Yep. Matt Patricia needs a centerpiece for the defense as Lions have struggled to cover in the space for quite a while.
So what is he again?
He's a middle line, or just a linebacker. I guess, in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
doesn't say middle or outside.
Right. That doesn't necessarily shock me. I don't know if they're in love with Jared Davis necessarily. I think Tavai is a piece they can build off of for sure. It just depends on what they're going to do. I'm interested to see too. We're going to talk about this next week too. The Lions staff changes, but depending on who they bring a defensive coordinator, if they're still going to run this Patricia scheme, or if it's going to be some hybrid of that with something else. I'm not necessarily against it, but it's like how many throws at this dartboard are you going to make? You just re-signed Christian Jones, you got Jared Davis, you got Tavai, you've got Kennard here. You got a lot of guys that you invested some money or capital in, and whether or not they're producing or not is yet to be seen. But it's it's interesting nonetheless. I'm not necessarily in love with that draft though.
Yep.
Honestly.
And to round out the third round, the Baltimore Ravens pick Travis Etienne out of Clemson.
There you go. That's a pick that all of a sudden he just kills it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the first episode of the first episode of the Merkzone Mock Draft. That's gonna wrap up episode 58. Anything you got to say, Mike, before we go off the air today?
I have nothing to say. Was I supposed to say something?
Go Tigers? Nothing?
Oh, go Tigers!
Which one?
Not the 13 Reasons Why Tigers.
Oh, snappy.
And not the... Oh, yeah, it's LSU Tigers, right?
I think Clemson and LSU.
Not the LSU Tigers.
Okay.
No, not the LSU Tigers. We'll go Clemson Tigers, baby.
Clemson Tigers is. All right, for the Mystic Whale Man, for the Merk Zone, I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys as always next time.